that feeling in your gut. When you see the unfinished novel, the abandoned coding tutorial, the half-assembled drone, this isn't just distraction, this is identity-level shame. Society has a label for you: flaky, unfocused, a perpetual beginner. You take the old saying, jack of all trades, master of none, and use it as a whip against your own curiosity. But that phrase is a lie by omission. The full version ends, but oftentimes better than a master of one. What if your curiosity isn't a bug in your system, but the defining feature of a new kind of mind? Psychology suggests your scattered nature isn't a weakness. It's the signature of a cognitive architecture built not for the stable past, but for the chaotic future. You aren't failing to specialize. You are forging what's called a modular mind. For generations, the blueprint for success was a single deep drill hole. The world was like chess. Learn the rules, practice for 10,000 hours, and you would win. That was the age of the specialist. But your nervous system, in its infinite wisdom, senses the truth. We no longer live in that predictable world. We live in what's called a wicked environment, where the rules are fluid, the goals shift overnight, and the board itself can flip over. In this world, the hyper-specialist is fragile. Their entire identity is tied to one single, potentially obsolete domain. So you drift. You spend 6 months consumed by podcast editing, and then, as if possessed, you drop it to study urban gardening. To everyone else, this looks like a lack of discipline, a character flaw. But from a higher vantage point, you are executing a brilliant, unconscious strategy. You are gathering data from wildly unrelated fields. This is where your hidden advantage ignites. Cognitive science calls this far transfer. The specialist excels at near transfer, solving problems they've seen before. But you operate on a different frequency. You take a principle from one universe and launch it into another. Consider a UI designer who was once a craft mixologist. On the surface, cocktails and user interfaces have nothing in common. But that experience behind the bar taught them about balance, about sensory journey, about the pacing of an experience from first impression to lingering finish. They don't just design screens, they choreograph sensory journeys. They understand intuitive flow because they've literally felt it in their hands. That is far transfer. That is the alchemy of the modular mind. You feel like an imposter because you're not the world's expert in one pillar, but you're blind to your superpower. Your value isn't in your depth in one silo, it's in the unique bridges you build between them. Now, understanding this intellectually is a relief, but it doesn't silence that panicked voice at 3 a.m., the one that whispers, everyone else is lapping you. You see linear careers, while yours looks like a frantic seismograph. This pain comes from a geometric error. You are trying to force your potential into an I shape or a T shape, but you are not an I or a T. You are built for multiple pillars of depth. The critical mistake is trying to build them all at once. If you try to build a business, learn a language, master an instrument, and code an app in the same season, you won't become a polymath. You'll become Ash. Those who thrive practice something deliberate, serial mastery. They view life not as a chaotic sprint, but as a series of intentional seasons. You might have a season of education in your 20s, then a season of hustle in your 30s. That doesn't mean you quit. You simply completed a chapter. I recall the story of a woman named Ilara. For years, she was torn between physical craft and analytical technology. She felt broken, divided. Her breakthrough came when she let her selves take turns. She chose a stable career in data analytics, a pillar that funded her life. But she protected her energy fiercely. She denied promotions, demanding endless hours. She kept her work week contained. Those protected hours became space for other pillars. Evenings for ceramics, weekends for woodworking. For a decade, these worlds felt separate. data, clay, wood. Then a project emerged, a desire to create smart planters, planters that responded to soil moisture. Suddenly, her pillars fused. Data informed the sensor logic. Ceramics shaped the vessel. Woodworking built the frame. Her decades of dabbling became the sole reason it was possible. She wasn't scattered. She was in a long, deliberate incubation. Building a modular toolkit. This leads to the final piece of your psychological armor, a principle from evolutionary biology: redundancy. In fragile systems, redundancy is waste. In antifragile systems, it is the core of resilience. A forest has many seed dispersers. A network has backup pathways. Your array of unrelated skills is your personal redundancy system. Consider the octopus. Its intelligence isn't centralized in one brain. It's distributed across a network in its arms. Each arm can think and react independently. If one is compromised, the organism continues. You are building this model, not the dinosaur with one massive brain. If you are only a graphic designer and AI reshapes your field, you face a crisis. But if you are that designer who also understands horticulture, repair, and storytelling, you have multiple nodes. You can pivot. You can synthesize. You haven't wasted time. You've been stress testing your own adaptability. So, see your graveyard of projects not as a cemetery. See it as an archaeological site, rich with evidence of your exploration. Those weren't failures. They were field expeditions. Each abandoned sketchbook is a fossil of expanded neural territory. You were never meant to be a monument to one idea. You were engineered to be a living network, a bridge between islands. Your curse is your contingency plan. That restless energy is your antifragility engine. The world is entering a phase of volatility. It will break specialized tools. It will demand adaptable, modular minds. It will demand you. And here is the freeing paradox. The modular mind does not rebel against structure. It redefines it. Structure is not a cage. It is a rhythm, a pulse. Where others burn out in a single role, you regenerate by shifting contexts. You don't lose momentum when you pivot, you metabolize it. This is why standard productivity advice feels hostile. Finish what you start. Niche down. These are rules for linear minds. You don't live linearly. Your motivation decays, not from lack of discipline, but from lack of meaning. When a domain stops teaching you first principles, your curiosity flags. Your mind has extracted the pattern. It is ready to redeploy it elsewhere. The mistake is not leaving projects unfinished. The mistake is leaving them unharvested. The practice is intentional extraction. Before you walk away, ask, what did this train me to see? Was it systems thinking? Aesthetic judgment? Patience? Name that skill. It becomes portable, a tool in your library. Over time, something happens. Your mind develops accelerated synthesis. It looks like intuition. You see solutions before the problem is fully defined. You speak in connecting metaphors. People come for perspective, not just answers. You make complexity navigable. Yes, this path is lonelier. There are fewer milestones, fewer ready-made titles. The trade-off is sovereignty. You are not easily replaceable because you are not easily classified. In an era of optimization, you are practicing evolution. So don't ask, what should I commit to for life? Ask, what season am I in? Ask, what pillar am I building right now? Honor the season. Extract the lesson. Protect your energy. Then move without guilt when the growth curve flattens. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are early. Early to a world that no longer rewards rigidity, but reveres those who can connect, adapt, and reassemble meaning from chaos. You are not a scattered mind. You are a system designer in human form. And systems like you don't rush. They endure.